Good evening. Welcome to Mighty Ox Trading. Sorry, I'm a little bit late. Couple minutes. Just finishing up dinner, getting my screens ready, and time just got away. But we're good now, I believe. There we are. Haven't looked at the charts tonight, so we'll look at them together. Hi, Walt. You still here? How you doing tonight? So let's see. Let's take a look at Nasdaq today. Nasdaq since the open came down and went up. Not that big of a range. It looks bigger than what it is. It's 10 points up, came back down, just about at where it started at. For today, though, we can see that had this really weird candle here in the morning, early morning. It went 80 points, an 80-point range in 2 minutes. Someone told me this is when Pfizer announced that their vaccine is effective against the new variant, but it's weird because it really, I mean, it just about ended back where it started, and I mean, that's just within 2 minutes. It went, dropped harsh, went way up. I mean, this would have been like eighth standard deviation on a band on the Bollingers, and then came right back down. Don't know what happened there, but I think that was actually that ended up being the high of the day. Yeah, it was, and it was a high of the day by a pretty good amount. That one weird candle came down here. So, I mean, it ended up with about a 200-point range today. Not as much as we've been seeing. And in reality, it's probably more like 150 if you take off that big wick up there. I took two trades today. I lost both of them, and I just stopped from there. As good as last week was, this week has not been kind to me. You can see the ES was similar today. It's kind of flat so far today. Let's move this up. I mean, it was definitely not as big of a range as we've been seeing the past couple weeks, I would say. It also had a weird candle right there at that around that same time. Actually, it happened a couple minutes after NQs. I mean, a couple like 5-10 minutes after. So its range today was uh, yeah, math, about 39 points. No, 41 points. There we go. And it's starting to try to climb back up to its all-time high. Crude. Crude's kind of flat since the open. Its range today, what, over 2 points? A lot of that came within one candle at that same time. Wow, I didn't even see that. Also 545, within 5 minutes, crude went up over $1,000 a contract. Did you trade today, Walt? Natural gas today. about a 2 point range. Seems like it wants to head up. NQ seemed a little hard to trade today. I took one trade on it and lost on a micro. I it's frustrating. This week's been frustrating. You know, I've won 50% of my trades this week, but I'm down $500. All the micro trades I took, I've taken like 4 micro trades this week on Nasdaq, or maybe 5, and I've won like 4 of them. I took one mini trade and I lost, and I took a $200 loss. It's like if I had taken all those micro trades as a mini, I would be up big time. But one mini trade I take goes against me. Yeah, last week was an all green week. This week's been an all red week. I've given back about half my gains from last week. But I mean, I won 50% of my trades, but all my winners are much smaller than my losers. So I need to make some sort of adjustment. I mean, I took a big loss on NQ, a $200 loss on one trade, and I took a hundred and something loss on copper. That was yesterday. Today I took a $100 loss on gold and a $40 loss on micro Nasdaq. So I'm trying to salvage this week, um, to try and yeah, I try to look at the bigger picture. I mean, technically, I look at December. I'm still green for the month. So I mean, but I hate when I give back. I had a good streak going, and then it just, I don't know. It's like this week's just been different. Yeah, I'm trying to stay positive. I get skittish on a loss. Like copper today. I don't know why I have it on a 30-minute time frame. You know, I got skittish with 2 losses, and then I just kind of watched things and didn't really jump into anything. And then copper went up from 433 all the way up to almost 440. It's like almost $2,000 a contract, and I didn't get any of that. And that's where I get frustrated when I look back at things and see what I could have grabbed and didn't. Oh yeah, I, yeah, I know that. It just I feel like I don't know. I feel stuck in the rut because I haven't, I've been, the fact that I haven't passed. And if I was funded, I think I'll accept the back and forth a little better. The fact that I'm not yet funded is just frustrating me because I look at this, I understand it all, and I just don't execute as well as I should. Natural gas. Gonna wait until the top of the hour before I actually enter in anything. Things go a little while whenever Asian market comes online. UltraBond had a pretty interesting day. Still burping up supper, sorry. UltraBond just was flat until, well, almost at the same time. Whatever, that 5:45 Central Time is really when everything started happening for everything. And you can see that the UltraBond fell almost 5 points. And that's $5,000 almost straight down. Um, I back test by going back and doing it manually. I haven't figured out how to really build a strategy on any of these platforms. I do the manual. I go back and look at these signals that these buy and sell signals. I look at where they are here within the price act, where within the bands, within the SMA, and decide if I will take that trade or not there. And I try to be as brutal with myself as possible, where I'll count trades that are a loss that I probably wouldn't have taken, just so I get a worst case scenario. And I actually have a spreadsheet with like 13 weeks of data. I haven't updated the last 2 weeks because I've just been kind of busy. But normally I was, plotting out the, every trade every day that I would have taken if I had been on at that time, so on, or based on the strategy. Excuse me. And that data says that I normally get anywhere between 55 to 65% win rate. Excuse me. Not sure. Okay, top of the hour. Let's see what Crude's doing. Oh, well, that looks bigger than I thought. Nothing else really went wild there at the top of the hour. Gold with a 4 tick candle. Oh, copper. Copper went wild. 11 ticks down. Been a nice short signal there to take, but I wasn't functioning it. Yes. Yes with a short signal. Let's see here. Got a resistance point there at 46.94 even, so only like 2 or 3 ticks. Crude's just continuing to drop. But actually, I mean, these candles look bigger than they actually are, because the thing I don't like about the bands is that they crunch my price action, makes things look weird. Looks better that way, but I like the bands, so. Gold today, let's see what it did. 14-point range today. Moved up most of the afternoon, then fell hard towards the close. And right there, another big candle at 545. Whoosh down. 3 points plus the wick. 6 points if you include the wick. UltraBond giving us a signal. Big short on the UltraBond, down 6 ticks. Basically, Walt, everything my stats tell me is that I need to take more trades to even out the losses, because I win. I should be winning about 60% of the time, but even if I would win only 50% of the time, if I follow my plan, because none of my trades are like only 1 to 1. They're all at least 1.33 to 1, 1.5 to 1, or even 2 to 1. So I could win only 50% of my trades and still be going. Still be profitable. Now I didn't take this UltraBond signal here only because usually if you see something come down that hard where it's almost the entire size of the bands, you'll see a retrace for at least a bit. Almost kind of like you're seeing here. Well, wrong chart. On copper. Copper came down hard and then reversed, and now it's trying to come back down again. Gold's coming down as well. So you see gold, UltraBond, copper, crude oil. Oh, nope. Crude quickly rebounded and is above where it was at the top of the hour. So that's a little bit of wild action there for crude here this time of night. See here the S&P. Interesting pattern this is a pattern that I actually like. Gives us a buy signal or a long signal. They really should be long and short, not buy and sell, but either it gives us a short signal, a long signal, but in the downtrending bands. So what I would expect here is for it to pull back, which it did. You can see it pulled back from here, 96 down to 94 and a half, pulled back by a point and a half, and then up and up. And that's exactly what it did. Up, down, up, and going. So the entry would have been right after this candle here. Did pull back by a tick, but now it's trying to head up. See if it continues. It does have some resistance along the way. You can see there's resistance here, resistance, yeah, right where it's at now. So it's either bouncing back off that resistance. Russell's kind of stair stepping up, but not a lot of volume right now in the Russell. S&P, big move there. So this would have been definitely a good play. Would have gotten in here at 46.96. Starts at 47.97.50 for a high. Usually I'm looking for 2 points. It's $100. Crude, definitely some interesting price action. Down, up, down. Natural gas been heading up here. Copper continued to come down. So one thing that's followed through, well, copper and gold followed through. The short signal fired as I was still getting myself together as I came on. That'd been a nice one to take though. It's come down 14 ticks. Yeah, 14 ticks. Copper, this one fired before I got online. 4380 down to 43. Yeah, that's already gone down 25 ticks. No idea why these support and resistance lines are here from something earlier, so I'm getting rid of those. So let's see where we're coming down into. You see this is the big move copper made today that I just totally missed. This line here indicates where we're at now. No obvious support and resistance areas there. I mean, you can see pullbacks. This area right here where it's at now, I guess, could be a support resistance area, but it's not like it stayed there long. Came up, pulled back just a bit, and then kept going back up. So I don't consider that a hugely important area. Although, if you look here, this area right here, that didn't give me the line. I hate it when something pops when there we go. You see, when it came up, it fell back down, came up, fell back down, came up, fell back down. So this area right here is actually a support area. Because it tried 3 times before on the 4th time it was able to continue its upward trend. So that is, in my opinion, an area that might stop it from continuing to come down here. It's got real close, within 6 ticks of there. So that could be an important area. Gold. You can see gold's right at this area here. Try to break through there. Came down this time, over here. Tried to break through once, twice, 3 times, and couldn't, and buyers came in. So now it's trying to break through that area again. And the next area is right here at the end of the day. You can see gold fell hard right about an hour before the close, an hour and a half before close. From 87 down to 83, so about $400. It's now below that, already below there though, so it's falling kind of fast. And then back here is the next area of support and resistance. So nothing major there to really stop it. UltraBond. UltraBond continuing to try and head down now. It's gotten some volume in it. Well, not a lot of volume. Oh, what the heck. What the hey. Let me find a UB chart somewhere here. There it is. Say they want to come on a boogie woogie choo-choo train. There's my UB chart. We're going to see if it heads back down that 1 tick it came back up. it's giving me conflicting signals here. Crude, another short signal. See, everything's kind of sideways, band sideways, SMA sideways, EMA sideways. UltraBond did go back up a few ticks. So, we'll forget that for now. Crude, I don't know, looks like this might actually be a good signal. It's slightly downtrending on both the band and the SMA. So, I'm not 100% sold on it. It exhausted down here. We hit a low of 41. We're at 48 now. Ultra bond. Ultra bond giving us a buy signal, but it's still below the SMA line. See, copper is hugging this support resistance line here. 5 straight touches. And Q looks like it's trying to head up. We have a recent high there and there. I'm live 2 more times this week. Thursday morning, Friday morning. Mornings are usually more exciting than the evenings. Do evenings just to try and show that there are opportunities in the market in the evenings, and as you can see by the opportunities I missed, there are opportunities in the market in the evenings. For those that have 9 to 5 jobs that don't allow them to trade during the day. And honestly, I think the best time to trade is overnight. Overnight things just seem to go more smoother. Once I get funded and no longer have to do my regular daily work stuff, I actually might trade overnight more often. Yeah, it can be tough when you dig yourself into a hole, getting near that drawdown. I'm I might try and work on a plan this weekend where find a way to like shoot for $100 profit target and $50 loss. I don't know how to do that with copper though. Copper doesn't have a micro. I mean, it has does have a smaller contract, but no one trades it. I would hate to give up on copper, but I could do a micro on crude. I could do a micro on S&P, Russell, Nasdaq, gold. The UltraBond also doesn't have a micro. But yeah, copper's micro. It's mini, and it's instead of being 1/10 the size like other micros, uh, it's half the size. But no one trades it. This is the chart on the E mini copper. You see, it's just specs, and it's nothing. This is a 1 minute chart, and you can see it barely gets traded. It has a total daily volume of, yeah, daily volume yesterday of 315 total trades. So far today, it's had two. So I have to stick with the main contract on copper. Now that mini's the one, as far as I know, where it goes down, and even the mini doesn't get traded. Uh, yeah, Comex Mini is that one that I showed you that had no volume. There's the regular HG, and the rest of these London. I have no idea what these even are. And so no, there's no micro and copper yet. Ah, it's not tradable at all. I mean, here, let me go. Let's go back to. Let's just go to a 5 minute chart. This is its 5 minute chart from yesterday. Uh, at the most, these candles are getting three in volume two. It had 233 contracts total for the 22 hours yesterday. It's not viable, and even if it was, it's not like 1/10 the size of like most micros are. It's half. So yeah, this is not tradable. No one trades it. I've been trading regular crude, but yeah, I'm thinking about going to micro crude, micro gold, and sticking with micros with everything that I can, but like multiple micros. So maybe like 5 micros instead of a full one contract. Go with 5 micros, which is like half a contract or something like that. So I don't want to try and like if I get a win on gold, I don't want it to be $10. I at least want something substantial. But like if I lose on a regular size contract, I feel like it just takes a big hit, it takes big wind out of me. So if I can, I don't know. Another part of me just says I need to trade with some confidence and trade my trading plan. 1 minute chart. Yeah, even with live commissions on earn a trade. I think it's like $1.60 round trip. Copper popped up, just now giving me a second buy signal, but seems to be tightening up. I mean, a sell signal seems to be tightening up. Crude, kind of sideways. This short signal here, 49 down to 35. That would have been nice. Popped right back up from that quick low, though. Russell's trying to head up. There's no micro on the UltraBond. Earlier this year, they came out with micros for a couple of the other Treasury futures. So I'm figuring UB and ZB. ZB is another one like UltraBond. We'll probably be getting micros soon, but nothing yet. Uh, it it doesn't have a lot of volume in the Asia session. I'll show it to you here in a minute. Just want to take a drink. Crude continues to be kind of wacky. UltraBond, you know, you see a lot of dashes here, and it could come down here nicely. It does make some decent moves, even with lack of liquidity. These had like some of these have like only one or two. Some of these have 100, 179. Actually, is more moving a little bit more tonight than it does other nights. Let's go back 24 hours. Turn back time. You see here, looks more spotty. Last night, you see a lot of dots. If you can get filled though, and you usually can get filled easier on a sim account than you can on a funded account. These are some decent moves for a few ticks each time. This one would have been 30 down to 26, 4 ticks. This would have been a bunch of ticks, and the Ultra Bonds, the tick value is the highest of anything I trade at 31.25. But it does seem to get decent movements when it's moving. It starts picking up more as it gets closer, past midnight central, and when the European session opens is when you start seeing you don't see as many dash candles. And of course during the day, but uh, probably about 5 a.m. Eastern is when you start really seeing the moves. And this made a beautiful move down today. No short signal would have been wrong, and you would have been a fool to listen to any of the buy signals as it was going down. Oops. There we go. So even tonight, let's look and see if any of this would have been viable. There's a signal here. Not sure. I mean, honestly, I would have ignored the signal because you still had the uptrending SMA line, and these were technically showing as green candles, so I would have missed this move. Would have ignored this buy signal, although actually that one would have worked too. 14 up to 19, 5 ticks. So this short signal probably been the first one I would have taken. I usually try to look for 7 ticks, and that would have eventually worked. There. So it definitely, I mean, you can get something out of it. You can probably, you get more out of it if you're only scalping 3 to 4. There was 1 week on my spreadsheet that for the entire week it did like a 72% win rate, which was astronomical. It went like 16-2 one day. And because of the big tick value, I've only taken maybe like 3 or 4 trades on an actual Gauntlet account. I was sim trading it a lot, but on the actual Gauntlet, I've only taken like 3 or 4 trades on it. Crude's now is trying to move upwards. Russell butting against the SMA line. Looks like the indices are again trying to come down, although the NQ is doing a little bit of a downward move as well. Seems like things are a little bit slow tonight at this point, so I'll have to adjust my profit target stop loss to be smaller. Probably a good idea. I mean, I didn't take any of these crude trades, and this has been a mistake. Taking this one, I hesitate to take signals right at the top, right at the 8 o'clock hour, 8 Eastern time, because things can go almost kind of like the Open during the U.S. Open, up and down, which is kind of what this did. But if I had just taken the signals, this went down by 8 ticks or 7 ticks, I would have got. I mean, I could, if I went scalping for 5 ticks, that would have worked. That would have worked. This would have worked. And all this would have worked. So I could have got 5 ticks, 5 ticks, 5 ticks, 5 ticks out of these 4 signals. So far, this one's gone 57 up to 69. So this one's already gone more than 10 ticks. So this has been the best signal yet. Next resistance is up here. Still has about 6 to go. ES. Let's see what the ES is saying. Ooh. I keep saying ooh like that's big. This is the 1.5 points down. Looks bigger than it is. Everything looks kind of choppy here. We really are kind of in a range on the ES. Back here, it's a range from about 94 to 97. And we've been in this range now for about an hour and a half. And you see that reversed right away. So if I had gone in on that short signal, it would have went down 2 ticks and then reversed. But crude, so far, the crude's given a crude and copper have been the best signals. Wow, whoa. So NQ did the same thing that ES did, just looks bigger. That was a 8.5 point candle down. Bounced off the third band, back above the SMA line now. So NQ regained everything it lost in that one big candle. Just came down, bounced back up. Kind of weird price action. ES did the exact same thing. Russell's more spotty. This is where I didn't catch this buy signal. So I was just kind of thinking this price action was weird, so I didn't really jump at it. And I should have. This is a 3 point candle, but now it's like, does it have the oomph to keep going if I jump in here late? Let's bring up an MES. Didn't have an MES up, but MES. 1 minute candle. Still going right now. So we'll do an gauntlet. 2-2. Two contracts. Oops, that might be our pullback right there. Let's see. Lost it again. I thought I always on top. Oh, MES kind of I guess not getting a lot of volume. Volume on that move. Yeah, MES. Oh, it's because I'm looking at NASDAQ instead of ES. Okay, never mind. I'm an idiot. How did I screw that up? That was NASDAQ all along. 3.5, 3 points. That's nothing to write home about. Okay, time to get back into the swing of things here. Either way, it's good I didn't get into any trade because you see it's pulling back whether it's ES or NQ. High of this session so far has been 46.99.25 on ES. We just hit 99, so we hit within one tick of the high of this session. High of yesterday though was 47.12. Okay, so kind of boring right now. That's why you hear me typing. There's not much going on. Gold did a class. This is one of these classic moves I've been talking about the last few streams. Is exactly the move that I'm looking for sometimes. Sends this long signal here. We have the downtrending bands, downtrending SMA line. Came down, came up, and then reversed. Came back and then back above the SMA and then went. That didn't go far. 84.2 to 85.1, but it's still, that's 9 ticks. $90 if you're trading a regular size contract. Could have easily scalped that. It would have been a high percentage play. Bounce off the SMA line here on NASDAQ. Back up, but these are small candles for NASDAQ. Real, in all honesty, it's 2 or 3 points. Copper trying to head back up now. Natural gas with the signal. Natural gas is spotty. Let's sing some Christmas carols. I'm kidding. So S&P hit that 46.99 area 3 times coming up and failed against it. So that's the next big resistance area. You can see back here, it came with that same area. So that's a big important area there. If it breaks above there, then it could go back up toward its highs of yesterday, or at least, I wouldn't say the high yesterday. High yesterday is that weird area where, but back up to here where it got up to like 47.03. If you look at crude here, I mean, that is kind of interesting. I drew out this resistance area from back here. Shortly after the open, it came up and quickly exhausted in this area. Sellers came in, pushed it down. Now look at this. This has come up now once, twice, three, four, five, six. Within a tick, every candle, just about in the last almost 15 minutes. Just at the same resistance point. If we draw it out, obviously that same area was important before the close of yesterday as well. So this is definitely something. We see it did get above this level for a bit yesterday afternoon, and definitely above, but not far above. So this is an area that it's struggling and pulling back. So that's why, if you draw out those areas that you see it struggling at behind here, I had this line drawn out even before this happened, because this was the high of the session. So if you're going in on this buy signal here, one I said I missed, 57, you might want to have had set your profit target at this resistance point, 74. I'm in 17 ticks. Now we're seeing it come down here into the upward trending bands, kind of trying to bounce. What we're going to watch here is to see whether or not this bounces back up to around the SMA or even a little bit above and then comes back down. And that might be a good area to short to see if it starts giving back some of this move. It's now the only point, I mean, it could go sideways for a bit, but it's right up against this resistance. So it's got to break this resistance to head up higher. And if it does, then you might actually see it move, good decent move up to maybe up to 91, which is the high of this move here, or even up to 73 even, which seems to be where this topped out at. We haven't been at that 73 level since the 7th. Oh wait, today's the 8th. All right, that makes it sound much longer than it actually is. Natural gas. 7-point candle here with a buy signal. Everything's kind of sideways, not giving me any real opportunities here. Copper sending me a short signal, but crude's also sending a short signal. It's kind of what I said looking for, but I don't know if it's. Looks like it might not curl back up. I don't know. I have to see if it sends a signal again. Copper short. 3 ticks so far. What's this resistance line? Does it anything? No, not really. Oh yeah, I just said earlier that was an interesting area. So, let's see if it comes down below there. This has been, it's 3 ticks so far. So we got our short signal on copper. It's kind of reversed. Crude oil. There's that short signal I was talking about. I just don't know about it though. Let's go for a short, I guess. Maybe with a very, very. So you see that the candle opened slightly above the level of the last candle. It's still showing as a red candle. UltraBond. Also showing as a short signal. Not a lot of volume there, so I'm not gonna do anything with that. Crude doji candle here. Let's try and push back up here. Natural gas sending the signal, but look at the weirdness of these three, couple band breaks, and I don't know what the heck it's doing. Not a lot of volume there. Kappa coming back up, so that short signal was bad. I should put a warning on this stream that no one should watch it because it's completely boring. It's listed in the YouTube listings for my channel. So S&P, if we take our, we'll keep our crude chart here on the side. S&P trying to come back up to that 99 level here. Can it break it? Can it break it? It's trying. Gold. Is that right? You see S&P's bouncing again off that 46.99 level. There we go. It just broke by a tick. NQ apparently heading up too. Yeah, NQ's heading up. Oh. Okay, that explains why MES looks so bad on Ninja Trader. So there is a Ninja Trader gave me March's chart instead of it rolled the MES. It has not rolled the ES yet. No, S&P bounced back off that below that 46.99 level. Copper's pretty much copper. Crude pretty much sideways. Do want to thank you everyone for joining me tonight. Oops, there goes Crude. I don't know. I don't know if I want to join this Crude trade or not. I don't think it knows either. UltraBond. Anyway, as I was saying, I do want to thank people for joining me tonight. I know the stream's kind of boring tonight. No one's talking, and there's not a lot of good price action tonight. There's some opportunities, but more scalping than long term. But please feel free to say hello in the chat, ask any questions you might have. Usually copper and gold are decently active, and crude oil. Um, Tonight, just everything is just slow. I don't know if this is some sort of December malaise or what, but yeah, everything's just really slow tonight. Last couple of weeks, we've even seen some decent, early evening moves on Nasdaq, but tonight we're just, I think it's kind of blah. I think the market's a bit confused right now. Just we have the FUD from COVID, but we have good numbers here and bad numbers there. So I almost feel like the market's just trying to take a bit of a breath. Week from today, we have FOMC. Depending what they say in FOMC, it could decide the overall direction of the market for a little while. I watched a video today that says that the analysts from a lot of the major banks like JP Morgan, Chase, Morgan Stanley, etc., are expecting 2022 to be kind of flat. They expect the S&P to stay between 4,500 and 5,000, and that's what they're telling their investors. So we might not see the huge moves we've been used to if they're right. I don't know how often analysts are right, but you know, we might move into a more stable time, which is, I guess, a bit more boring. But there's still more. Obviously, there'll still be money to be made. Might just need to go for shorter profit targets. But again, we'll see if they're right. I don't know how often the analysts are right. Crude did bounce here, so we'll keep paying attention to that. If we look at if we look at crude so far tonight, this signal would have gave us 12 ticks. So I mean, if we were shooting, I think tonight the best thing for like crude would be shoot for 5 ticks. The last five signal 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 signals before this one. This one has not given us 5 ticks yet. I don't think 64 down to 60. It's only giving us 4. So giving, if it gives, shoot for 5 ticks maybe. Is right now is if you're gonna try. Gold. Let's look what gold's given us. Gold's been spotty since the open. You can see 84.6 down to 83.8, 8 ticks. Back up for 13 ticks. This obviously would have been good. That signal would have been good for over 20 ticks. This one for 10 ticks. So I mean, if you're when you're seeing lesser volume and such, I guess you really need to just lower your expectations. I don't think NASDAQ, normally I'm looking for 15 points on NASDAQ. I don't think any of the signals tonight would have given me that. Let's look. Let's see here. And honestly, I don't even look at the charts in the first hour. But this would have given a just under, that would have given 14 points. This short here, I wouldn't have taken because of the bands, but let's see. Doesn't look like 15 for sure. Let's take it out. You can see how tight of a range we've been in because I would normally run a 10 ticks. Sorry, keep saying tick. 10 point stop. So running a 15 point profit target, 10 point stop, starting at this signal, and neither would have been hit. And that this signal came 17, 18, 19, 2.5 hours ago. So it's just ranging. Could have went for 5 points here and there, but even that off some of these signals have been bad. It's just a boring night. I'm still thinking that overnights, European sessions might be the better sessions to play. If you look at last night, let me look at this copper signal first. Not happy with it. If you look at overnight last night, starting here about 284 up to 11, that would have been, good 20 points. That would have worked. This this would have worked. It was a pullback you would have had to sit through, but it would have worked. That would have worked. Yeah. Yeah, that Ninja Trader did that for me because I was going to go in on an MES trade, and I went over to Ninja Trader here, and you can see MES has like no volume on the March contract. You can see how spotty it is. Still the December contract on the ES, and that's still full volume. So not a lot of people have rolled over yet, and the prices aren't matching anywhere close between MES and the March MES and the December ES. So probably got to do that tomorrow if I'm going to use. Ninja Trader's pretty good at telling me when to roll. I'll close it down tonight and bring it back up tomorrow morning, and it'll tell me to roll. I hate trying to figure out when I'm supposed to roll it. ES and Q while I'm here. So a 5 point candle down. Does it have follow through? You can see the last shorts did not. This one didn't. This one didn't. This one didn't. If I didn't have responsibilities to do during the day, where I earn my actual money, I've always been a night person, so I wouldn't mind trading at 2 a.m. But like I say, usually there are, if we go back, let's go back in time. Let's check, let's check gold. Um, yeah. One bad part about the 1 minute chart is it takes so long to scroll through. Last night on gold, we were kind of spotty there too. Decent move down. We had this, see, last night on gold, right here, just after 8 Eastern, got this signal here, and it started this big move. And this move, lasted about an hour, and went up 60 ticks. So that was a big mover last night during the 8-year session on gold. Let's look the night before. Night before, you can see it opened at around 79, went all the way up to 82, so about 30 tick move, then gave it back in about a 20 tick move, sideways action down for another 10, 15 ticks. So that was some decent movement throughout the night. And then here about 9:30 Eastern, it started this downward move, and it uh, gave up about 30 ticks. I'm a night person anyway, so and it's not like I have a family or anything to worry about. So if I had nothing, if I didn't have to make money during the day and could just trade, I would have no problem trading an overnight session and sleeping during the day. Going back one more day here on gold, evening session, big red candles there right at the open, moved up. This big move here, right at 8 o'clock, a couple minutes after, started this move upwards. I mean, I had the huge pullback first, but from here we're at 85 up to 87, so that was a decent 25-point move. And then here, an hour later, started this downtrend that went from 87 all the way, continued for like 2 hours, down to about 81. So that was about a 70 tick move. So, you can see gold normally has some decent moves here in the evening. Copper usually has some decent moves. I'm guessing silver does too, but I don't have a silver chart up. Crude usually does. The indices seem to be the slower in the evening, and whereas the metals and the energies. I haven't checked. Yep, soybeans are dead. Corn, dead. If we look at copper on the 5-minute chart, we see it made a decent move last night in the evening here. Went up 30 ticks, back down by 40 ticks, back up by 30 ticks last evening. Then it went sideways. So it's more your metals and your energies at this time of night. Here, copper just died from the open down the 33 down to 30, so about $750 a contract sideways before going up in the London session. Just tonight just seems deader than normal, and I don't know why. I don't know if there's anything anything going on. I guess the day wasn't as you know active as normal either. If we look at our chart here, this is our range. These yellow lines were the range from yesterday, and compare that to you see the huge range the day before, huge range the day before that. So these are it was a smaller move today than normal, just all the entire day. Maybe we're getting too used to like these 600-point moves. For those of you here from YouTube, please remember to hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe if you haven't. Gold giving us a buy signal here. Let's look at it. See, gold's been in the same kind of range here. Need to see it get above 85.2. It's at 84.8. Got above 85.2, then the next big move would be up to 85.9. No, that's not even that big of a move either. It really is. I mean, so far, the day's range since the open. Low of 83.1. High of 86.3. So we've only seen a 3-point range so far. Crude. Still sideways. It is back above the SMA line. Just kind of interesting. It's sending us a buy signal. I don't know. I have a resistance point. This is, yeah. See, this is why we draw out resistance. Remember, it struggled here for like 15 minutes, hitting this, butting up against it. And we pointed out back here, it did the same thing and same thing here. We are getting a buy signal here, but we're only 3 ticks away from that. I want to see it get above that before I take, because it has not been able to get above that now since around noon, and it's tried multiple times. So we'll watch that because that's the extent of our drama so far tonight. UltraBond giving us a signal as well. Let's see what it's saying. Keep that watch. Keep that watched. UltraBond. Absolutely no volume right now. Gold's trying to head down. So we can watch the dual drama here. Can crude get above 72.74? Can the S&P get above 46.99 and sustain it? All this and more on an action-packed episode of Mighty Ox Trading. Gold with the short signal. It's actually dealing with a resistance point or support area here as well. You can see here, and it just bounced. It's bounced on the same area 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. So buyers and sellers of multiple assets tonight just don't want to see things move. Yes, I did get above. Can it sustain it? It got to that one tick above that we saw it get to. Oop, there, 2 ticks. Cruise also right there at its resistance. Oop, gold just broke that resistance but bounced. Everything just kind of hanging here within 2 points of those resistance support areas. Oh, there's ES now trying to go. And crude. Oh, wow. So there you go. ES broke, crude broke, and they both broke so fast I didn't have a chance. Copper, teasing me. NASDAQ, you see, also broke upwards here. So something just gave a little oomph to the market. So we're at 16,400 now on NASDAQ. S&P got up to 4701 and struggling. Crude didn't get it far above and is struggling. And we're seeing the pullback. No follow through at all. Buy, buy signal here on the UltraBond. I don't feel comfortable taking anything right now. Because nothing is really showing a follow through. We had immediate pullback. We had the breaks of the resistance levels, and then but immediately pulling back after the breaks. Crude trying to continue going up. Interesting movements here. Now, in retrospect, if I had just taken this buy signal instead of not worried about the resistance, would have gotten 9 ticks here. Here, I would have had the pullback, but would not have knocked me out. And I would have got 2.5 ticks. I'm sorry, points, 2.5 points. And crude is going to continue to, looks like crude's trying to continue to go up. But it's just hard to trade tonight. Crude continuing trying to grind up. S&P now sideways. So maybe I missed my chance here. Crude has gone up 10 ticks since it broke the resistance. And it even gave me a second chance. It bounced off the resistance here and went and it's gone again. All these using buy signals would have worked. The one here on the Russell, the one here on the ES, the one here on Crude. We'll ignore natural gas. This one here on NASDAQ. Excuse me. Whoa. Well, gold's losing its mind downward, and UltraBond's losing its mind upward. So I said I was iffy about that gold, but it would have, well, yeah, it would have been good. So sometimes you can get lulled to sleep. And what do I mean by that? I mean, everything was moving so slowly that you just expect everything to continue to moving slowly. You don't take the trades. And I mean, this would have given us so far 11 ticks, which isn't a lot. Normally, I'm looking for 16. I have no idea where I came up with 16. It was a bunch of testing. But, not knowing it was slow, I could have taken the signal and maybe had a 1-to-1 risk to reward, 5 to 5. Would 5 to 5 worked? No, 5 would have stopped me out. So say 8 to 10, 10 ticks profit target, 8 tick stop loss. It's a 1.25 to 1 risk to reward. A little less than I like. But, here it would have worked. And even back here it would have worked, I think. Sometimes you just gotta adjust. See, here, I mean, it would have been the same trade, but back here we actually, move that out of the way. If we had taken in that short signal, that would have given us that 16 ticks. So, you win some, you lose some. I mean, and I'm protecting my capital. I'm not taking trades that I'm iffy about. And while I'm not making any money, it means I'm not losing any money. But it does make for a boring stream when I'm not taking any trades. S&P back to the SMA line. Hey, good morning. Good evening, Tuan. I traded this morning. I took two trades. One on micro Nasdaq, lost $40. One on gold, lost $100. Called it a day. I had a great week last week and a horrible week so far this week. No trades tonight so far. Hey, John. Twan and John, did you trade this morning at all? This week just has been bad for me. Last week was wonderful. This week's been horrible. I've given back over half my gains from last week. Ouch. Sorry to hear that. How bad, Twan? Tonight's just slow. There's nothing going on at all. Ouch. Yeah, things seemed hard to trade. I mean, I was staring at it for a couple hours, but after I got nailed on Nasdaq and nailed on gold, and I wasn't in the right mindset to try and continue to try and get something out of the market this morning. Copper giving me a buy signal here. I don't know. It's You can see we've been in a range on copper. Great job, John. You did very well navigating a tough market today. And which size combine are you doing? Or what's your profit target on it? See? Immediate reversal there on copper. Though gold's continuing to go down. The gold's the first thing I've seen have follow through here in the last hour and a half. Yeah, Twan, I saw that. Yeah, I got frustrated when I saw that it made that big of a move and I got none of it. I don't know what's different this week compared to last week. Last week I made over $1,000, 65% win rate. This week I have a 50% win rate and I'm down $500. big move here up on the Nasdaq, 6 and 7.5. Something's all of a sudden giving some oomph to the market. Big move up here on copper, 6 ticks. 9 points now on the NQ, up to 16,409. ES, same move, same similar move, heading up toward the high of this move yesterday afternoon, or today this in the afternoon, right before the close. Crude, big move up as well. Something just gas, big move up. Russell, kind of a big move. Something just happened. Yeah, I've noticed that the volume's been up and we've been having huge moves, but today was more subdued. Markets definitely gained back the big loss that we've seen take last week. This is the Nasdaq daily chart. Now let's look at that as Twan's pointing out it's Black Friday was there, right? Yeah. Black Friday we had, Black Friday we lost 315 points, 680K volume on the Nasdaq. Next day we gained 339, almost 600K in volume. Almost not 850K in volume the next day. We lost 240. And the big loss on December 1st of, no bigger than I thought, 280 points. 861K. Down here bounced up. 585K. Before that, we were seeing less than, right around 500,000 in volume. Sometimes as low as 400K. So yeah, there's definitely been an uptick here in the volume since Thanksgiving. Be interesting. Yeah, and then yesterday though we had a small candle, only a 74-point move upwards. So far today, 16 points up, and I think a bunch of that just happened. And it does frustrate me though. I look back at these huge moves and I didn't catch any of them. It's like, how does something go up $10,000 and I lose money on it? Copper's heading up. Something definitely just give a little boost to the market here. Crude's up in the last 5 minutes here. Yeah, John, don't give it back. Just slow and steady. I've been thinking about going to all micros for a while. The problem is, two of the things I trade don't have a micro. Copper doesn't have a micro. The UltraBond doesn't have a micro. So now, I look like a total idiot for not taking. Well, look like a total idiot for bringing up the wrong chart. I look like a total idiot for not taking this buy signal back here. I waited for a broke resistance. It broke resistance and then milled about. I didn't get in, and now if you can see, it's gone up. If I just taken that buy signal there, it's gone up. Holy Hana. 55 ticks. So $550 move on crude oil in the last 27 minutes. S&P off that last buy signal. Boom. 4.25 points. Oh wait, I moved it. Oops. 4 points. Do I know of anyone that's been trading their own money? No, I don't. Um, Trying to think if anyone ever stops in here and says they have their own brokerage account. No. I mean, I know there's some people funded that are trading a funded account on Earn to Trade or other programs that talk on the Discord or on another Discord I'm on, but no one that I know that's trading their own money. UltraBond's up 8 ticks since that signal. Hey, Lennox, how you doing? So suddenly this boring night actually became a little bit exciting. Not that I grabbed any of the excitement, but I gotta get better at reacting. I'm well. Not having a good trading week, but I'm well. So as I watch everything just go up without me. Definitely has not been my week. But I still got tomorrow and the Friday to change that. Uh, yeah, Linux, have you ever looked at the volume on it? Yeah, there's like absolutely no volume. I've looked at it before. Excuse me a minute. Sorry about that. Yeah, I looked at it before, and it's just I don't think it'd be viable to trade. I mean, I'd have wondered whether or not I could force, like, because obviously on a sim environment like the gauntlets are, you can sometimes get better fills than you would in a real account. So I have kind of wondered whether or not I could kind of like force the issue and actually, see what happens. I don't know. And it's you know um it's one half the normal size contract versus 1/10, like the micros on ES and gold and all that. Interesting. Well, copper. Yeah, John, I saw that crude oil going up, and I didn't react in time, and I should have. I gotta get better at that. Ninja Trader, I just tried to bring up QC and gave me the December contract instead of the March. Let's see if I can get QC to give me March. Not sure how I force a, a specific contract in Ninja Trader. It's giving me 1221 and yeah, Linux. I was gonna try and do a sim trade on it in Ninja Trader, but I can't get the contract to come up for the right month. Uh, let's see. Let me try putting in QCH. Future. Nope, it won't bring up a chart for me. So I'll let that go for now. Okay, multiple questions at once. Do you have better succession with trailing stops or setting targets initially? I do both actually, Twan. I set a like uh like say for copper, I set my when I have a profit target of 20 ticks, but when it hits the 20 ticks, then my stop will trail 4 ticks behind. So it won't exit the trade there, but then I'm guaranteed 16 ticks of profit even if it pulls back at that point, and then it'll like follow by that 4 ticks as far as up until it finally pulls back by 4 ticks. So I use both the trailing stop as well as I it trails at my intended profit target. What is the volume like in crude oil at night? Crude's pretty good here. We'll bring it up since there's like really nothing going on anymore tonight that I'm really um, volume profile. Under 100 each minute for the most part. Then this big candle here that just boomed up was over almost 1500, and you're seeing 358.91. So yeah, smaller amounts. Hundreds between 75 and 150 with some 200s popping up compared to during the day. Let's look. Uh, Here we are. It's getting. I mean, even here, this is just right after the open, and only getting 565,000. So it's, these aren't big numbers. Right here, when the crude pit opens, you get a couple thousands, but in 2,000. But I mean, the numbers aren't terrible in the evening for crude. And you can definitely get some good moves on crude. Um, Yeah, this was last night. You can see it came down. This big, nice move up here right after 8 last night, or 9 o'clock Eastern. Would have went 20 ticks. Nice move down here. Also about, I think, 20 ticks. So it definitely, it can move nicely in the evenings. I don't ever have a problem getting filled on crude in the evening. And I don't ever notice too bad of a spread. Usually 2 ticks max. Now natural gas is horrible in the evenings, as you can see all these little dashes that represent no volume. So yeah, Twan, back to you. I have a profit target on my trade, every one of my trades, and but they almost all have trailing stops once they hit that profit target. I don't usually trail like right from the start of the trade. I wait till it gets to a certain point. My strategy eventually, when I have enough confidence and enough cushion to trade more than one contract, is basically to run 2 contracts, let one cash out at a certain profit target to lock in profit, and then let the other one go with a wider trailing stop to try and catch more of a move. The big moves. So Nasdaq's continuing to go up. So this was its move. Apparently, got something that came in and finally gave it some boosting up, and now it's gone 13, about 25 points up. Copper went up 20 ticks, pulling back. UltraBond went up 15 ticks. What's 15 times 31? 310. About 500 bucks, I would say. 450, $500. I could get the calculator out, but gold got back above the SMA line, gave us a buy signal. I wasn't paying attention. Only went up about 4 ticks, now sideways. ES trying to pull back. Crude pulling back. So, earlier, Walt, I'm not sure if Walt's still here, we were talking about, is there anything that's worthwhile to trade in the evening? Because tonight's been so slow, and now we got this exciting portion where we would have had good moves on just about every asset. Now, I didn't take any of those, and that's my own stupidity. And again, it was kind of because I got lulled to sleep. Not literally, I wasn't sitting here snoring on the stream. Although the one overnight stream that I did kind of fall asleep for like 10 minutes. And you might have heard me snoring then. But, I kind of got lulled to sleep thinking that we were going to continue these small moves in these ranges. And they all kind of finally broke out. And I was just mentally wasn't in the game. And that's, on me. So, every asset in the last hour would have gave me a decent move that for the profit target I'm looking for. The S&P, I'm usually looking only for 2 points in the S&P. It gave 4. Nasdaq's given 25. I'm normally looking for 15. Copper gave me 20, and I'm looking for 20. UltraBonds, I'm looking for 7, and it gave 15. Yeah, Twan, that's me and Walt were actually talking about that a little bit earlier. I actually, I look at the overnight movements, and it seems like things tend to trend a bit more overnight. Uh, and if I could pick my time to trade, I would probably trade overnights into the open, the U.S. Open, because it just seems like it's a little bit smoother and calmer. Things tend to trend a little bit better. But unfortunately, I got to be awake for during the day to do my actual making money stuff. So right now, staying up all night to up in the middle of the night to trade isn't something I can do on a regular basis. uh, Walt, what level did you get in at? Yeah, so once I'm funded and I have some money and don't need to worry about the crap work I do during the day, I might actually switch to where I trade the overnight session, more often. That's what I hope to do, yeah. Because what I do now for money is horrible and takes up way too much of my time, and it can easily be replaced with one good trade a week. Now, by full time, I don't know if that's going to be trading a couple hours or trading 8 hours or whatever. I like trading, so once I'm getting consistent success from it, then you know I don't want to burn myself out, but I don't have a problem sitting in front of a computer for hours. So that's what I do now. I mean, I sit in front of a computer for 16 hours a day no matter what. So now I wouldn't trade for 16 hours a day, but I wouldn't have a problem trading 8 hours a day as long as I didn't feel like it was eventually causing me to burn out or mental fatigue. Um, and plus, if I can, consistently trade profitably for X amount of hours, that would mean, the amount I'm making is going up. And honestly, I'm not big into the whole fancy cars and fancy stuff. I want to help people. I really want to be able to do charity stuff. That's what drives me. So the more money I can make, the more people I can help. That's my big motivation. Well, luckily it's just a sim trade. Well, sometimes it's fun just to see how negative you can go once you're negative on a sim trade. Yeah, I grew up very poor. I'm still very poor right now. Right now I'm deep in debt because of not working for the year that I was down from my surgery and then the rehab. So, I'm deep in debt. I want to get out of debt and then just be able to help people because, I know what it's like. I've lived life where having to go to the food banks for food and, all that stuff. So I really want to help people and animals. I'm a big animal shelter, helping out animal shelters and things like that. Eventually, I'd love to get to a place where I can be trading well enough that I can give away 50% of my income and still be able to, live on the other 50%, but give away 50% of my income. Right. I agree with you, Twan. It is. But, I, I just, like I said, I know eventually I will be prosperous. I know that's what I'm working toward. But I also know that my phone rings 5 times a day from people wanting money from me. And I need to get to a place where I can work toward that no longer happening. Crude oil again. Hey, crude's coming back up there, Walt. 12 tick candle up. It's trying to come back up. Oh wait, you're short. Oops. Sorry. Uh, Walt, it's coming back up. You might want to get out of that trade. I just, for my personal life, I want comfort. I don't ever, I've never believed that money buys happiness, but it buys comfort. It buys lack of worry. If you don't need to worry if something breaks, that you're not gonna be able to fix it. Or things like that. Thanks, John. I did get a long signal here on crude again. I don't know. Try to decide if it's going to continue to go up. It hit a high of 73.34 on this recent move. We're sitting at 73.24. So I'm trying to figure out if it paused here and is just going to continue to go. I think when we look at a daily chart, we're up higher. And again, I hit the wrong chart. Uh, Wow, where was I for that? How did I not realize that on November? Oh, wow, Black Friday, oil dropped $10,000 a contract? 10 points? Wow, somehow I didn't realize that happened. I guess I really wasn't paying that much attention on Black Friday. But so it's trying to recover. It's recovered about half that loss since the bounce down here. I do remember. That's right. That was when Biden released some of the oil from the strategic reserve or something like that. So we're coming up on 10:30 Eastern. Would like to find a trade, but I'm not going to force it. I'll just come back tomorrow morning. Remember, everyone, I'm here tomorrow morning streaming. Just about 10 hours away from now, I think. No, 9 to 6, 9 to 5, 8, 9 hours from now. Crude staying above the SMA line. Everything's kind of sideways. See if it breaks out again upwards. If it does, I might try and just go in for a quick 4 or 5 tick scalp. Yeah, you need to get all these people, into combines so they stop scheduling meetings like that, John. Or you just need to retire. Thank you all for joining me tonight and chatting. These streams go much easier when people are chatting. That way I'm not just, good job, John. Very nice trading. Have yourself a good night, and I'll see you in the morning. As for me, eh, might wrap up at 10:30 Eastern, about another 10 minutes, unless something exciting happens. Then I'll go longer. Do see that the indices are trending downward. giving us short signals, but well, uptrending band here on the Nasdaq. I don't know. Nothing's giving me the warm and fuzzies tonight about taking the trades. Let's do one micro on the Nasdaq here on this short signal. No, it's Linux. It's rhythmic. But yeah, unfortunately, our the trade uses rhythmic instead of CQG. I think they almost all use rhythmic. So you see, I have not taken this trade on Q. It's kind of bouncing back up or down. Now I'll take it. I think. Yeah. Well, actually, let's go for 15.10, and we'll do it. Yeah, I really liked Trade of 8 when I was at top step. So we're in this MNQ trade, one contract, oh, two contracts. I don't know why it keeps doing that. Okay, I'm in for two contracts. I changed it to one, and it's been changing it back to two, and I don't know why. So, yeah. Uh, and Rhythmic's been a little bit better lately, but I don't really like Rhythmic. I mean, I really did like Trade of 8 with Top Step. I for a browser based, it was very responsive. See, Copper has sent us a short signal here. That's actually looking pretty good as well. Yeah, I would like to trade right on TradingView. Though TradingView does have about a 1 second delay that I notice if you compare it from my NinjaTrader chart to my Nasdaq chart, or my TradingView chart from my NinjaTrader chart. It's about a 1 second delay in the price action, but I'll be willing to deal with that. Now, Earn a Trade has a new prop firm that they're working with for when you get funded, Edge Clear, and Edge Clear has TradingView on their website, but I've never seen uh, them listed in the brokers on TradingView, so I'm not sure why they listed on their website, or if there's some sort of something there I just don't understand. But yeah, I would love to see Earn a Trade link up with TradingView. 'Cause honestly, watching the charts on TradingView and then quickly having to find the right chart for NinjaTrader loses me time. Gold sending me a short signal, and then I lose that time trying to find the right chart. Now, if I had, I do have, if I had a third screen, I could just have all my NinjaTrader charts uh, spread out on the third screen, so I could just grab them. Okay, we're down $13 right now in this NQ or MNQ. Let's come back up to the SMA line. Oh, really? Okay. I didn't know that. Yeah, I would love to be able to trade directly off of. The only thing is, if you're using, the only thing I don't like about TradingView, unless it's somehow different if you connect it to a broker, is there's no way to. I'm not connected. No way to do trailing with TradingView. I don't think, unless I'm missing something. You can set stop loss and profit targets, but I don't think you can do trailing stops. So you got to be managing the trade. Trying to see whether or not we're going to get a bounce here off the SMA line or not. Oh, that was a nice bounce. Crude giving us another signal. Whoops, wrong way. That's a big signal. Russell just came down nicely compared to the other indices. Yep. I have a feeling we're going to get stopped out on this. All these green candles in a row. But since I'm only risking 40 bucks here, I'll let it go to where it's ever it wants to go. It's definitely sideways. We're looking 5 straight green candles in a row there because they're all kind of like just sideways. So we'll go until this trade ends, or 10 o'clock, whichever comes, or 11 o'clock, whichever comes first. Right now we're halfway to being stopped out on this trade. NQ is giving us a buy signal, but pulled back. See that the bands are downtrending toward at the top there, so squeezing. My stop loss is actually above that second deviation Bollinger Band. So you might even see it come up, bounce off, and come back down. We'll kind of just let's see how it plays out. If I was on a regular mini, I would cut it here where it's giving me the opposite signal. But since I'm at this point it's only 17 more dollars if it totally stops me out. I'm not real stressed by it. Especially since you now see that this my stop is actually right at the third Bollinger Band, which means it's going to have to go up into the bands, which is possible. This short signal on copper would have failed. So it is trying to bounce off the band here. And the question is it just going to go up and force the bands to bend back up? Or is it going to bounce and come back down this way? Or just go sideways? That's the drama of the moment, folks. As the NQ rolls, these are the candles of our lives. Yes, yes, I am, Walt. Right now, I'm down $17. About 4 points. Yeah, 4 points down. There, made the NQ chart bigger, so it's easier to see. I'm not really worried about taking any other trades right now. I'm gonna call it a night whenever this one's done. It did bounce off the Bollinger Band. Stop loss is now well above the third band. So let's see what it does. Honestly, let's move our stop loss down to this swing high here. Because if it bounces off the SMA line, comes back up, that's probably means it's not going to come back down. This could be one of those trades where it stays in a range for a long time. But we were down as much as $28 at one point. Now we're only down 12. Big red candle here on ES. Oh, there we are. We're in profit. Look at that. Big red candle on NQ. And by big, I mean 3.5 points. It's big for what we've been seeing. We'll continue to push down. It's right back at the resistance level. This is where we entered. So I don't know what I would call it a resistance yet, but came down here. It only went another tick or two before it started going back up. So let's see if it can break down through that now. $5 in the profit. It's kind of like a doji here, so it kind of A lot of times a doji is a good sign of a reversal. But not this time, for now at least. Definitely not breaking the bank, but $11 in the profit. 12. Looks like it wants to continue to try and push down. Green candle here. I'm watching the chart on the NQ while trading the MNQ. They run together for the most part, but they seem to be about 2 ticks difference right now. See it increased in volume here the last 4 minutes. Went from 12 on this candle to 104, 109. If I close the trade here, well, not anymore. If I get $6 in the profit and close the trade after commission, I'll still still be in profit. And yep, train going by. Still trying. Not the most exciting trade I've ever been in. I'm up $10. Copper. Not really looking to take any other trades. And I'm not going to take that one for sure. Yep. Green candle. So this trade might range for a while. Back up the break even. Honestly, if it gets back up to the SMA line, I may cut it there, take that loss. But it's back in the profit again. It's going to torture me for who knows how long. And see, this is my issue with taking micros. If I had taken a mini contract here, I'd be up like $50, and I'll be happy to cut it here for the $50 profit. But I took two micros, so I'm up $8, and I'm just gonna let it ride to see what happens. And this is how my week's been going because I've taken like 5 MNQ trades, my micro Nasdaq trades, and I won 4 or 5. I took one mini trade and I lost 200, which wiped out all the micro trades plus. Part of the reason I'm down so much this week. So if I just take them all as minis, I'll be up big. Or if I had taken them all as micros, I'll be up small. There we go. I kind of like this. Starting to look like it wants to head downwards. It's beginning to look a lot like profit. Okay, well, what we're going to do, I'm going to move the stop down to here, above right at this, oops, where this candle, no, yeah, right about there. Right now we're up $14. I know you all are sitting there on the edge of your seats, waiting to see how this trade turns out. Oops, curling back up. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yeah, I stayed away from NQ for the longest time. Felt it was too fast for me, and really only started trading it. I don't know, last maybe month and a half. I'm not sure. Time flies, so I end up losing sense of how long something's been lately. But and now it seems like ES is just so slow, and Nasdaq's most of the time manageable for me. Sometimes too slow as well, but definitely like it better than ES now. Yeah, sometimes it's frustrating. ES and NQ obviously they oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes pretty much make the same moves at the same time. And there's times that I would take an ES trade, be happy with my, $100 win, two point win, yay. I look over at the Nasdaq chart and see it went up like enough to make $500. I'm like, something's not right here. Maybe I need to be in on that action. Oh, there we go. That's a nice move down. Now we're $22 in the profit. Glad I don't have a webcam on. I'm just sitting like way reclined back and just watching this from afar, doing my color commentary like I'm a sports announcer. Another two ticks down. So you know what we're going to do at this point? I am moving the stop to break even. If it comes all the way back and stops me out at break even, that's fine. It does seem like the bands are kind of curling back up now. Oh, speaking of it coming back, so my stop is still above the SMA line. So let's see if it bounces off the SMA. I could cut the stream now and make you all tune in tomorrow morning to find out how this trade ended. Yep, another move downward. Ooh, big move downward, actually. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Pulling back deep in the bands. I think it's going to stop me out of my trailing stop here. Let's see, maybe not. The next candle actually got it out of the bands. Still kind of in that third band. Still trying to push down. There we go. Wow, there we go. Wow. Yeah, this was worth waiting for. This was worth waiting for big time. Okay, there we go. Trailing stop just took me out. That was definitely worth the wait. Let's take a quick look at the stats on that one. It's still going now, but it's already stopped me out. But it was trailing. My stop was trailing, and it pulled back enough to nail me. $80 win. So that was a good way to end the night. $80 win. It just bounced here. It bounced at a low of 379. We got out at, let's look, 388. So it went down another 10 points. So yeah, we could get another 10 points out of it, but I'm happy. You know, going into the morning, $80 profit, big pullback here. But yeah, it was a good way to end the night. $80 win. Well, it's the only trade I took, and it took forever. I think that was a really long trade. Let me check to see the time on that. 23 to 58, so 35 minutes. 35 minutes, $80 win. Go into tomorrow morning with that $80. I'm not going to take any more trades tonight. I got a grocery order to finish and sleep to get. So, thank everyone for joining me and sticking with me through that trade. Lennox and Walt, appreciate it. I will be back tomorrow morning and Friday morning. And then, oh, nice, Walt. Great comeback there. I wasn't even watching other charts. Everything went down all of a sudden, just like before. And well, gold's going up. Gold's going up. Bonds going up. Copper down. Nasdaq down. Crude down. Everything all of a sudden just started bleeding out. Yep. See you, Linux. I guess Monday night. You don't make my morning streams. And Walt, see you tomorrow morning if you're here. Not Friday morning. Have a great night, everybody. And we'll see you next time. Hey, I'm always here, so definitely stop in the morning if you're on, Linux. Have a great night.